What's up, Buttercups? It's me, Amy Young, coming at you with a Friday freestyle that is coming to you with the help of some really old coffee that I desperately need because it feels like for some reason this week has flown by, but it's almost like I'm like just pausing and realizing like, wow, that was a lot. I'm like kind of tired, so this might be interesting. I had a really amazing call with one of my clients yesterday that I want to talk about, and she said that I could share this with you, and I really hope that some of you will connect with what she's going through and what she and I talked about. It's so cool how like through coaching I feel like I learn a lot. I learn a lot about just people, I guess, and also just about myself. But yeah, this wonderful client of mine has been wanting to start a blog for a long time. And we've been working together for a little while, and it's kind of one of those things where, you know, it's sort of like no matter what we are talking about, she kind of always ends up coming back to the blog and wanting to write and wanting to share. And you know, finally I kind of just like put her on the spot and was like, so what's it gonna take for you to actually get going on the blog thing? You know, because you talk about it so much, and every time you talk about it you get excited, and like, what's the deal there? And she got really, really quiet, and I could like hear in her that it was like a oh crap kind of moment. Like she was like, I don't know what's stopping me. I don't know what's holding me back. I don't know. And anytime we get an I don't know, like that's our first response, I don't know. Especially when it's something like about ourselves, something internal, I always am like, okay, well, we're gonna sit in the I don't know. We're gonna like sit with it. Because I don't know is usually, sometimes we really don't know, but it's usually an immediate kind of block to some other possibilities that we don't want to face or acknowledge. And usually what'll come up first is an I don't know, because that's an easy cover up. And it's like, okay, I don't have to open that door. I don't know. Like, I just don't know, period. We don't have to look any further because I don't know. There's no answer. So we're sitting in the I don't know. And she got really quiet and she said, Amy, I'm just so afraid of what people will say. I'm so afraid of what people will think. I'm so afraid of how I'll come across, or that, you know, people will say mean things. And she's just like, I really want to share, you know, my words. Like, I want to speak from my heart. I want to like do this, but I'm so scared. And like thinking about it right now is like getting me choked up, because I know so well what that feels like. And I think we all know what that feels like, whether it's like a blog or something that we want to say to someone close to us, or an outfit that we want to wear that we're worried is like too crazy, or we want to go to the open mic and sing our song, but we're worried what people are going to think. And, you know, I always, in these moments where fear shows up like that, I think it's really, really important that we honor and recognize that fear. And that fear is not the enemy. That fear, we don't want to just ignore it and be like, well, fuck fear. That's not how I live anyway. And that it's not what I encourage in others. Because when fear shows up, sometimes it's for very legitimate reasons. And even when it shows up for seemingly illegitimate reasons, like, oh, you know, just post your blog, whatever, it's not a big deal. When you feel it, it feels really real. So we have to pay attention to it. So we ended up kind of going through this conversation and talking about, well, you know, what's important about like this fear? Like, what's good about this fear? Like, what is this fear, this feeling of like worrying about what other people, what is fear trying to protect you from? Because that's why fear shows up, is like to keep us safe, right? And we ended up coming to like all of these really amazing conclusions about like, I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look silly. I don't want to, I don't want to get hate. I don't want to be trolled, you know? And like, the internet's so cool because we can share of ourselves and we can like say anything that we want to say, but it's at the cost of admission is like not knowing what the response will be, right? And I ended up asking her a really important question that one of my first coaches asked me, which comes up a lot. And I said, you know, your fear is like legitimate. Like, we don't know what people will say. Like, we don't know what people will think. People might say mean things. I'm not going to sit there and tell her that they won't, because that's not the truth. But here's the question. What is more important than your fear? And she immediately like started crying and was just like, you know, I think that like my desire to be heard is more important than my fear. My message and what I want to share with the world is more important than my fear. And my longing to help other people is more important than my fear. My creativity is more important than my fear. Like, all of these things sort of just kind of spilling out. And suddenly it was like, whereas before it sort of felt like the fear was this big, and then like her desire to like finally hit publish on the blog post was this big. Suddenly it was like this side was growing, and like the fear was getting smaller and getting smaller and getting smaller. And I was just like so moved, because by the end of our call, she was like, I'm gonna do it. You know, like, I'm gonna hit publish on that post. I'm gonna line up the other posts that I've written that I haven't wanted to share for months. I'm gonna just follow through, and I'm just gonna do it, because maybe my fear is trying to protect me. Maybe it is true, but you know what? There's other things here that are more important than being afraid or being scared. And I was just like, girl, praise. Well, praise, like those little emoji hands. I was so friggin' proud of her and so like inspired by that, because this is true for all of us. You know, we all have fears, and we're all worried about what other people will think, or looking stupid or looking silly. Those aren't great reasons not to do something though, especially when it's something that we feel really, really called to do. She felt really, really called to work on this. So I actually asked her, I said, can I post the link to your blog post in my video? And she was like, no, you're not allowed to do that. So I wanted to share it. She said no, otherwise I would. But regardless, I wanted to share her story, because I think this question of what is more important than your fear is a really powerful one. And I think it can open up a lot of cool doors, because there's a lot of stuff that's more important than listening to your fear. And yeah, if I say this to my clients a lot, I remind myself of it a lot. If you have a song in your heart, it needs to be sung, even if you want to sing it quietly at first, even if you just want to hum it a little bit until you get a sense of the melody and the rhythm. You're more comfortable singing the song, that's fine, but start singing it in whatever small way you can. Fears be damned. Examined and then damned. This has been my Friday freestyle. I'm not surprised that I got a little misty in the middle there, because like I said, long week. I'm a little bit sleepy. And it was just a really moving, cool conversation. And I feel so lucky to do the work that I do with the people that I do it with. So thank you to her for letting me share her story, and thank you to you for watching. I wrote a new blog post this week. I'll put the link in the description box if you want to read it. It's about talking about baggage and having difficult conversations in relationships, and how to kind of help yourself through that process. While you're there, you can sign up for my email list if you want to hear from me regularly. And I will see you on Monday. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe so I can see you on Monday. I would love to see you on the regs. And until then, until next time, corner of the earth, they're single friggin' dudes who would probably be very happy to strike up a conversation with you and want to interact with you. Do you know what the problem is?